Welcome to XIO Voice. Continuing from the previous episode 158. Grug. Fresh blood was spat out as Tien She's body fell from the sky. His feet staggered over a dozen steps on the ground before he gradually steadied himself. A pale whiteness surged onto his shriveled face. Bang! Bang! All the elite Ice River Valley's disciples also flew backwards, appearing to suffer from a heavy blow, while Tien She was forced back. After which, they collapsed onto the ground one after another. No one knew if they were dead or alive. Only the three white-clothed elders present were able to barely stabilize their bodies. However, their faces were currently covered in shock. None of them had expected the great formation, formed from all of their strengths, would be unable to last for even one exchange in the hands of this person in front of them. An elite Dozun was indeed not someone they could defeat by just relying on numbers. This person's control of spatial strength has reached an incredible level. He doesn't appear like someone who has just advanced to the Dozun class. Some shock swiftly surged into Tien She's eyes as he stabilized his body. He swiftly scanned over the Ice River Valley's disciples who had been shaken until they were unconscious. His eyes flickered. My Ice River Valley has miscalculated this matter today. With this person protecting the woeful poison lady, it is impossible for the old me to capture them alone. I can only head back and inform the valley chief about this matter. Tien She was indeed an old, crafty fellow. After this exchange, he knew this mission would not progress any further this time around. Therefore, he decisively clenched his teeth and a mighty, cold air gathered on his palm. After which, his fist smashed onto the empty space behind him. This empty space immediately became distorted when his fist was thrown at it. A dark black spatial tunnel appeared behind him. Bing Xiao, leave with me. The dark black spatial tunnel had just appeared when Tien She's hand grabbed toward the three white-clothed elders. A suction force surged out and sucked all three of them to his side without any resistance. His body moved and entered the spatial tunnel. Don't let him escape, Xiao Yan hurriedly cried out when the dark black tunnel appeared. There was naturally no need for Xiao Yan to open his mouth to remind Tien Zun Jie when it came to something like this. Tien Zun Jie swiftly reacted to the situation. His palm aimed at the black spatial tunnel from a distance before he ruthlessly clenched it. An invisible ripple spread and one could see the spatial tunnel begin to swiftly collapse. The expression of Tien She suddenly changed when the spatial tunnel collapsed. A cold glint immediately flickered in his eyes. His palm slammed onto the back of a white-clothed elder and a frightening cold air surged out, sending this elder flying in the process. Bang! That white-clothed elder had just been sent flying when the hidden force, placed in his body by Tien She, suddenly exploded. His body was immediately covered by an icy coldness. After which, it exploded with a bang. Ice shattered into little bits that shot in all directions as a shocking airwave spread out in a lightning-like fashion. In the face of this wave from the explosion of a body, the invisible strength that spread from the hands of Tien Zun Jie was impeded. After which, it was momentarily blocked. Tien Zun Jie's eyebrows were knit when the white-clothed elder's body exploded. This old fellow was really ruthless. He decisively attacked his companions beside him. With a wave of Tien Zun Jie's sleeves, the spatial ripple spread again and resisted the airwave that was created from the explosion of the white-clothed elder's body. After which, it swiftly spread toward Tien She. Tien She's expression changed when he saw that the explosion of an expert Dozong did not obtain much effect. Immediately, a fierce glint quickly flashed through his eyes. The other two white-clothed elders felt a chill rise in their hearts when they saw the fierce glint in Tien She's eyes. The both of them acted in union without prior agreement as they attempted to move their bodies and flee. However, this thought had just appeared when Tien She let out a cold smile. His palm was imprinted on the backs of these two people with lightning-like speed. A wild and violent force shot out of them. Bang! Bang! The two elders did not have the time to put up any defenses. That frightening cold air surged into the bodies of these two elders, and the circulating Do Qi in their bodies immediately stilled. After which, they began to swell. Bang! Bang! Another two loud noises appeared. An even more powerful cold wave surged and spread in a lightning-like fashion. Some of the large rocks on the ground were covered by the tough ice almost immediately because of this icy cold wave. The Ice River Valley's disciples on the ground were quickly transformed into many lifelike ice sculptures. The life within their bodies was completely frozen at this instant. The two large, ice-cold waves that had erupted shook the invisible interfering force of Tien She until it collapsed. The spatial tunnel rotated and a pale-faced Tien She swiftly entered it. Finally, he disappeared. It's a small world and we will meet again. The matter today is definitely not over. All of you should wait to be killed by my ice river valley. While Tien She's figure was disappearing, a vicious, dense voice was slowly being transmitted from the spot where the spatial tunnel disappeared. After which, it reverberated over this valley's entrance. Tien She slightly knit his brows when he saw that Tien She had successfully fled. He had not expected this person to be able to part space and flee despite not having reached the Dozun class. Moreover, he had underestimated the heartlessness of that fellow as well. He had willingly sacrificed 3 Dozong elders in order to flee. He escaped? The little fairy doctor's eyebrows were vertical as she softly exclaimed. Xiaoyan gently nodded. He felt a little regretful. Finally, he glanced at Tien She in the air and said, "Old Mr. Yao has just obtained a body. Although your spiritual strength has been greatly strengthened in an instant, the Do Qi within your physical body cannot be completely recovered within this short amount of time. You have completely relied on your spiritual strength in the fight earlier. Otherwise, it is likely that Tien She would not have fled." Tien She in the air moved and appeared beside Xiaoyan. He helplessly shook his head at Xiaoyan as he said, "I could have destroyed the spatial tunnel. However, that old fellow is really too ruthless. He threw 3 Dozong experts like bombs." Xiaoyan smiled and nodded. He said, "It is fine as long as we can scare those old fellows off. We are currently unable to fight head-on against the Ice River Valley. We need to find an even more secretive spot and help settle the issue of the little fairy doctor's woeful poison body. Once she is able to fully control the woeful poison body, the Ice River Valley will have to really think twice even if they wish to touch us. 2 Dozuns can be considered an extremely powerful force even in the Central Plains region." Tien She slightly nodded. Although he currently possessed a body, he did not truly possess the strength of a Dozun yet. He needed to wait until he had familiarized himself with this body in order to be called a true Dozun. "We will let you decide where we should go. You can be considered to have given the old me a second chance to live. The old me will return you this favor." Tien She fondled his beard as he spoke with a smile to Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan smiled. He mused for a moment before replying, "Since Tien She has already fled, it is likely that the Ice River Valley will learn about us soon. Therefore, it is likely that we can no longer remain here. Moreover, the Fallen God Valley is not a suitable place if we wish to help the little fairy doctor resolve the issue of her woeful poison body. The poison vapor in this place is too dense. If the woeful poison body retaliates, we will end up with a trouble that we cannot predict. Hence, we must find a place that is filled with light and heat. That kind of place will be able to suppress the woeful poison body, and it will raise the chance of success by 10%. Filled with light and heat? Tien She and the little fairy doctor pondered the options. It was not easy to find such a place within the Pill region. "I do know of a place that is filled with light and heat." A voice suddenly sounded while Xiaoyan and the 2 others were deep in thought. The 3 of them followed the voice and looked over. Coincidentally, they saw the smiling Xin Lan walking out of the valley. "Where?" Xiaoyan rejoiced when he heard her words, and he hurriedly asked. "Yi City. My Yi clan has a unique place that is called Sunfire Ancient Altar. The sunlight from the sky during the daytime will gather at that spot. There is a hole in the ancient altar that reaches deep underground. Occasionally, some core fire seedlings will drift out of the hole. When this core fire seedling makes contact with sunlight, it will transform into a kind of flame. My Yi clan calls it sun flame." Xin Lan softly explained. "This kind of sun flame might not be a heavenly flame, but it is far stronger than an ordinary beast flame. Some of my Yi clan's ancestors would frequently borrow this kind of sun flame and increase the success of their pill refinement. Unfortunately, this sun flame cannot exist for too long. It will automatically scatter." Xin Lan's voice was a little regretful when she spoke until this point. Even though it didn't last long, the sun flame was still quite tempting. There was an unknown number of factions who coveted this Yi city. They were all after the Sunfire Ancient Altar. Sunflame? Xiaoyan muttered this name in his mouth. This world was indeed filled with mysteries. The sun flame's formation was similar to that of a heavenly flame's birth. No wonder it was hidden as a treasure by the Yi clan. Based on what you say, the Sunfire ancient altar should be forbidden ground of your Yi clan. They will actually loan it out. Xiao Yan knit his brows and questioned after pondering the proposition. He had met those people from the Yi clan before, and he did not have a good impression of them. Xin Lan also appeared to be aware that Xiao Yan did not have a good impression of them. She let out a bitter laugh before gritting her silver teeth and saying, "They offended Big Brother Xiao Yan last time because they were unaware of your identity. If you go there again, Xin Lan guarantees that they will not offend you." The current Yi clan was in a gradual decline. Only her grandfather was a Tier 7 alchemist. This kind of strength was not enough to allow the Yi clan to continue being one of the 5 great clans. If they did not seek outside help, it was likely that they would be swallowed and taken over by other factions. Moreover, from the way Xin Lan saw it, who was more suitable to provide this outside help other than Xiao Yan? He had already reached the 7th tier at such a young age. Such achievement was not the least bit inferior even when compared with the so-called genius seen once in 100 years from the Cao clan. Xiao Yan hesitated for a moment after hearing Xin Lan's words. He then gently nodded and replied, "Hopefully it will be just as you have said. If I can resolve the little fairy doctor's woeful poison body issue, I will do my best to help with the problem of your Yi clan on your account." Joy surfaced on Xin Lan's face when she heard this. By saying this, Xiao Yan was clearly giving the Yi clan another chance. "Big Brother Xiao Yan, you can rest assured about this matter." Xin Lan heavily nodded her head. She had already made up her mind. No matter what happened this time around, she would definitely make those pedantic fellows from the clan truly view Xiao Yan as the savior of the Yi clan.